Every single day, we all interact with these countless invisible systems that are just running our digital lives. They're kind of the silent architecture behind our social media, our online shopping, our banking, you name it. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain on one of the most fundamental systems of all, the database. Let's get right into it. So, have you ever really stopped to think about it? I mean, when you post a photo, or fire off an email, or stream a movie, all that information has to go somewhere, right? It doesn't just float around in the cloud, it needs a home. But if we just chucked all that information into one giant digital pile, it would be absolute chaos. Just imagine trying to find one specific sentence in a book where all the pages have been ripped out and just tossed into a giant heap. I mean, it would be impossible, wouldn't it? Without some kind of system, information is really just noise. And this is the exact problem that databases were created to solve. Okay, so what is a database really? Let's start with the official definition, and then, I promise, we're going to break it all down with a simple analogy that'll make it all just click into place. The formal definition goes something like this: an organized collection of data that is stored electronically and structured so it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. Now I know, that might sound a little dry, but trust me, every single word in there is super important. Let's unpack it.
The best way, honestly, to think about a database is to just picture a modern, really well-organized library. It's not just a room full of books, right? It's a whole system. Everything has its place, it's all categorized and ordered so you can find exactly what you're looking for. A database, at its very core, is all about that same idea of organization.
So what is this library organizing? Well, it's organizing data. And data is just a fancy word for information. Facts, numbers, words, pictures. In our library analogy, the data is just all the books sitting there on the shelves. It's the stuff you actually care about.
Okay, now here's the key difference. Unlike our physical library with paper books, a database stores all of its books, all its data, electronically on computer systems. It's a digital library, which means it can be unbelievably massive, incredibly fast, and you can get to it from pretty much anywhere.
So we've got our digital library, and it's full of information. But what makes it truly powerful isn't just that it holds a ton of data, it's how it holds it. The real secret ingredient here is structure. And here you can really see the difference it makes. On one side, you've got total data chaos. That's our pile of ripped out pages we talked about earlier. It's pretty much useless. But on the other side, you have that organized library. It's the same information, but it becomes incredibly valuable simply because it has structure.
And this structure is what gives us those key benefits from our definition. Data can be easily accessed. That's like using the card catalog to find a book in seconds. And think about it. At a massive scale, this is what lets a service like YouTube find that one specific video you want out of millions in just a fraction of a second. It can be easily managed, kind of like a librarian keeping perfect track of every single book. And it's easily updated, like swapping out an old edition for a new one without messing up the whole library.
All right, so we have the library, that's the database, and we have the shelving system, that's the structure. But a library doesn't just run itself. You need a brain behind the whole operation, someone who knows all the rules and can help you find what you need.
And this is where the Database Management System, or DBMS for short, comes in. The DBMS is the software that acts as the gatekeeper and the manager for the database. It's really the engine that makes the whole thing work.
So, to put it simply, if the database is the library, then the DBMS is the librarian. See? The librarian doesn't own the books, but they know exactly where every single one is. They handle all the requests, they enforce the rules, and they just keep everything running smoothly. The DBMS does precisely that for our data.
So we know that DBMS is our librarian, but what do they actually do? Well, their job really focuses on 4 fundamental actions.
These 4 simple actions are the foundation of pretty much everything we do with data. You can create new data, you can read existing data, you can update data that's already in there, and you can delete data you don't need anymore. In the tech world, you'll often hear this called CRUD.
And this maps perfectly back to our library. Creating is like adding a brand new book to the collection. Reading is checking a book out to learn from it. Updating is like correcting a typo you found in a book's text. And deleting is removing an old, outdated edition from the shelves. When you post on social media, you're creating. When you scroll through your feed, you're reading. And when you edit your profile picture, you're updating. It's all right there.
Okay,
So we've broken down all the individual pieces. Now let's put it all back together and see why this whole system is really one of the most important inventions of the digital world.
Here's the whole concept in a nutshell. The database is the library itself. The structure is that logical shelving system that keeps everything organized. The DBMS is our helpful librarian who manages it all. And your requests, what you're doing, are those 4 simple actions: create, read, update, and delete. Ultimately, this system, this digital library, is running silently behind almost everything you do online. Your bank account balance, your saved progress in video games, your contacts list, your entire email inbox. All of it lives inside databases, kept safe and organized by a tireless digital librarian.
So I'll just leave you with a final thought. Now that you know what to look for, how many databases do you think you've used just today? From checking the weather to ordering dinner, I'm willing to bet the answer is way more than you can count. And that, right there, is the quiet, organized power of the database.